Watch past episodes too. The Dan Patrick Show, available anywhere you are, any way you want it. Welcome to the Dan Patrick Show.
I love Dan Patrick. Oh, my God.
Home to the biggest guests and best sports talk on radio.
I love it. One of my favorites.
Normally, home to Dan Patrick.
Hope you'll miss us.
But today, Dan and the Danettes are off.
Don't see another radio show behind my back, please.
And filling in, it's Steve Covino and Rich Davis.
There we go. It's good.
Broadcasting from the Mercedes Man Cave, this is the Dan Patrick Show.
Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
morning. Live from the Fox Sports Radio studio. Remember, the hottest rookies. Look at Bree got all excited when I said that. Oh.
She's like, who?
Like Sam Hartman. Biggest superstars and all-time greats. The only place to collect them all is Panini Trading Cards, the official trading card of the Dan Patrick Show. For instant classics, autographed cards, memorabilia cards, rare inserts, and more. Start or continue your collection now at PaniniAmerica.net.
Yeah, by the way, cards are back in a big way.
Yeah, they are.
I have a 5-year-old son, and him and his little buddies are starting to collect baseball cards. And our buddy,
Make sure they don't put their little booger fingers all over
it's
it.
so funny. I open packs with him, and if I feel like he has a good one, I'll be like, yo, hand that to Dad, and I'll put in a little plastic for him. Because you're right, his little grubby Pokemon card hands.
Yeah, sweet Shohei Ohtani card with the jelly all over it. He's 5.
Oh, look. You know what? He got a Scooble rookie
Oh, nice.
in a 2024 pack.
Yeah, you got to take that.
And I was like, yo, get your little jelly fingers off that. All right. Again, start that collection now. PaniniAmerica.net. CNR in for DP.
Got
here.
Iowa Sam on the 1s and 2s. Always great to see Sam. And, of course, Breeze on the phones at 877-99 on Fox. We're Covino and Rich. We're on 2 to 4 every day out here in California, 2 to 4 on the West, 5 to 7 on the East. And if you want to watch our show, we have a bonus pod called Overpromised. Just check Fox Sports Radio's YouTube page, and we're actually streaming right now.
Well, listen, if we're not on in your market Monday through Friday in the afternoon, you can always hear it on the iHeartRadio app. We appreciate that. And 2 questions for you, buddy boy. Number 1, I'm excited, of course. Mets-Yankees tonight, Subway Series. You're a Yankees guy. I'm a Mets guy.
Rocking my Yankee tee. Look at that. Woke up, put my Yankee gear on. I'm ready.
Baseball.
I'm wearing stirrups. I'm so fired up.
Only stirrups, by the way.
Only stirrups.
Check that out on the
Inappropriate.
Fox Sports Radio stream.
I can't see your waist down, so I guess you're okay.
Okay. I'll show you in a minute.
You'll never know, Sam. Carlos Rodon.
Yes.
Is he hot right now, or is he struggling? I know right now, 4-3, ERA in the low 3s, but is he?
Here's the thing.
has
They're
he
trying
found
to
himself?
keep him. He's one of those dudes that unravels. That's what they figured out. Like, if something goes wrong, it's like, oh! You know, everything collapses after that. Someone makes an error, he's like, oh, Jesus. You know, he doesn't get a call that he wants, oh! And then the world starts falling apart. They're trying to keep him composed, and he's been a lot better since they've figured that out, and he's been great. I think he's been great. Yeah, he's one of those solid pitchers that we expected.
Well,
for
he's
sure. He's no Max Fried, but he's good.
Pitching for the Yanks tonight. Mets are throwing Tyler McGill. So.
I think ever since he's been able to grow a scruff back, he's just more dominant, more comfortable in his skin.
Fair enough. All right. Second question. Not about the Mets-Yanks. On our bonus podcast, Overpromised, we did a video podcast. Have you lightened up a little bit? I loved all the schedule releases by the NFL teams. 32 social media managers were all high-fiving each other. And Covino's like, who cares? It's a schedule.
It's not that I don't care about the schedule. It's just that these videos do nothing for me. I think they're corny.
I don't
Unless
care.
it's your team, I get it. You're excited about your team and who they're playing, and oh, man. But to be cheering for the social media team, man, the social media department, they're insane, right? Who cares? These videos are corny, and they're meant for, like, teenagers. Are you really into Minecraft?
No, but what I'm saying is the same way the NFL draft went from a couple old guys smoking cigars in a wood-paneled basement.
Bro, I watched back. You thought Schedule Rizzy was a good one? The spoof on Sky Rizzy?
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, Rich said this is what He goes, these are my top 5. I'm like, if these are the best ones, I don't even want to see the rest of them.
Well, I saved
don't
you.
care.
Then I must have saved you from the other 27 then, huh?
You could see Rich's top 5 on our bonus pod, Overpromised. That's on Fox Sports Radio's YouTube page, like we said. I'm not saying I'm not into creativity and that I don't appreciate the effort, but for me to make a huge hoopla out of it like you do and get all excited and like it's Nudie Magazine Day or something, I don't care at all about these videos.
All right, well, hey.
Rich is in the McRib. He's like the people at McDonald's who like McDonald's food are like excited about the McRib coming back.
I get
There's
excited.
a small little fraction of people
Yeah,
are
it's
like, yeah, schedule release,
Yeah,
woohoo.
I like
You
it.
McRib.
Do
Yeah.
you mean all these videos that have tens of millions of views, you bird brains?
Well, that's
No,
the
yeah,
thing.
they are trying to cater and appeal to younger people with Minecraft and all that stuff.
And,
I
and
get
that's
it. I get
cool,
it.
but you expect me to care about that? I thought it was, honestly,
All right.
for lack of better term, Rich, mad corny.
All right, well, do you know what? Go back to only caring about Aaron Judge.
It is
I
cool-
hope he,
it is
I hope he
cool.
goes 0 for 4 tonight.
Hold on. It is cool to see the evolution of what the schedule, premiere, and debut has become. It's like this big, wow, I can't wait to see what they do.
Well,
That's kinda cool.
A team that's going to get a little more buzz this year because, we're hoping and thinking next step, next level stuff for Caleb Williams. And I got to ask, distraction, unnecessary, who cares? He's there now, but if you don't know the story, last hour we sort of set this up. Caleb Williams and his dad, there's a book coming out, and in this book, his dad said Chicago is
Well, you
got to
give Wickersham some props. It's Seth Wickersham's book.
I was going to
It's
give
not
him
just
props.
like some Dr. Seuss book. It's a book.
The places we'll go.
Right.
Seth Wickersham has a book, American Kings, a biography of the quarterback. And in the book, a little preview, Carl Williams, Caleb's dad, said Chicago is the place quarterbacks go to die. And then Caleb said, do I want to go there? I don't think I want to.
His dad is Carl the Truth Williams? What?
And I think as you read more and more of the quotes, it's stuff that I wonder if Caleb Williams regrets saying, or is the narrative like, you ever have the mindset of like, yo, I didn't want to come here, but now I'm here, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I don't think it matters, man. I really don't.
If you're a Bears
And
fan,
don't
does
you think-
did this leave you butthurt if you're a Bears fan?
No.
Based on
What are you, a sports baby?
based on the history of Justin Fields and Trubisky and all the people that have
Dude, what does Chris Rock say? Just be happy you're with her now, right? Just be happy you're with them now. Just be happy that he's a Bear now. You're going to cry about it because he didn't like them? I'm sure it's a different story now. It's like Shedeur Sanders with Cleveland. You think that was his first choice? It wasn't his dad's. If you go back to 2018 and read the tweets.
Yep. Well,
Right?
I don't
Deion
want
Sanders like, I don't want my son. I'd never let my son play in Cleveland.
Well, guess what?
That's what happened. They're going to make the best of it.
Well, Jinx, guess what? Carl Williams said, quote, I don't want my son playing for the Bears. So Primetime and Carl Williams have something in common. Their sons ended up playing on teams that they were like, I don't want my
Guess
son
what?
playing for that team.
My parents didn't want me moving to California either. And look at us. We're prospering out here. It's great. Sunshine. Am I right? Palm trees.
I miss you, Steven.
What other job sectors are there where the employer chooses you, but you don't get to choose the employer? Usually it's a two-way
I was
street.
saying, didn't your mom say, I want him on ESPN or NBC Sports?
She never said
No,
that.
she never said that?
She
No.
never said. She let me go out and make my own choices and apply to wherever. And I like, if you're a Bears fan, wouldn't you just be like, yeah, I don't know if Daddy Williams is wrong here, because it's kind of like we haven't had a really big time quarterback for about 40 years.
Hey, let me ask you this.
Since Jim McMahon had sunglasses on and was doing the Super Bowl shuffle, the Bears haven't had
They've had like
success.
Rex Grossman, they've had Jay Cutler, they've had a little bit of a little sprinkle of success with Mitch Trubisky, but like they haven't had, someone like obviously like Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen.
Yeah, they haven't had a superstar.
They haven't had a superstar for a long time.
And he has this type of potential for sure.
But do
so
you
they're
twist
just going to
this,
embrace
Covino?
him regardless of what he thought previously
Do you twist it and
or
say,
what his dad said.
do you twist it and say, yo, man, like there's been times where I think it's fair when someone's like, I came here and didn't think I was going to love it, but you know what? Now I do.
Yeah, because that's believable. Where you live right now, was that your first choice? No, you're like, man, the place I really wanted, someone else bought it. But you know what? I got this place, and I made it my own, and I'm really happy. It worked out for the best. I can't even imagine living in another place because this place, man, I absolutely love it. You don't feel that way about certain things in your life?
Some people have their eyes set on a college when they're a young kid, right? Like,
Absolutely.
I want to go to Penn State, and then you don't get in, and you're like, well, I went to Rutgers, but you know what? I met my wife and my best friends at Rutgers.
You're like, you know what? The universe had a different plan, and it worked out, and I can't even imagine playing anywhere else. I believe that to be true. It doesn't matter at all. It's a fun story, and it's cool to know the truth and the backstory, but I don't think it matters to the fans or what his output is going to be or his legacy is going to be with the Bears at all.
So let me ask you this. There's the twofold question we'll answer and move on because there's plenty of other stuff to get to. But if you're a
Why
Bears
don't you go
fan,
trifold like Spotty's wallet?
all right, I'll give you three questions.
Give me
then.
3.
With Velcro.
Yeah.
Number one, if you're a Bears fan, does this bother you even a little?
No. You're not marrying Caleb Williams. He's not your wife. Why does it bother you? He's on your team. He's going to make the best of it.
And based on the history of your team and the coaches he didn't want to play for are no longer there. So you could almost argue
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
that you can almost argue that he's like, I don't know if I could play with this coaching staff. In fact, there were also parts of this book previewed where he was watching film and they didn't even tell him like what to watch and what to do, and he felt very misguided.
By the way, if you really want to play stat boy, I would say 90% of people in sports don't play for the team they really wanted to because they all had childhood affiliations that they rooted for. So they were probably like, I wish one day I could play for the Steelers. That didn't happen for everybody.
You know, that broke my heart, Iowa Sam, Bree, when I met my hero, Joe Montana, years ago. I was like, Joe, do you know how much you meant to me? In fact, I told Joe Montana that I wore his pajamas when I was a kid. That was embarrassing.
You know what he said? I remember I was there. He goes, I hope you still don't wear them.
I loved Joe Montana as a little boy. I had the starting lineup figure. I had a poster on my wall until I graduated to my Cindy Crawford poster. In my bedroom was Joe Montana. And when he told me, he's like, I was always sort of a Steelers guy. I'm like, what? He goes, I played for the Niners, but I was a Steelers fan.
So that's what I mean. You
what?
You think the 49ers were his first choice? No, he was super pumped about it, made the best of it, and he became a 49er. But it wasn't like his first thought or dream, I doubt. So it's not that really big of a story, even though it is.
Layer A was, do Bears fans care? You're going to say no. Layer 2.
They're just happy they have him now.
In life, your job, your relationship, opportunities you've got personally and professionally, are you interested at all in the backstory of like, well, we were going to hire this guy, but we didn't, so we went with you? Hey,
Yes.
I wanted to date this guy,
Yeah,
but
it's interesting. Like before I got into radio, I was waiting tables at Bennigan's, and I was this close to becoming a firefighter because I thought my radio career would never prosper. And look at me now, in for Dan Patrick. Oh my goodness!
Where's your mustache?
No, seriously.
No,
I wanted to be Mr. August in the calendar.
he just wanted to be in the calendar.
I just wanted to wear the suspenders, but only the suspenders. But yeah, the backstory to anything is always cool. Isn't that why you watch any documentary?
I'm gonna give everyone in Chicago a little hope because they already have great deep dish pizza. They have a great city. They have a lot of great things in Chicago. The Bulls in the 90s, which we're going to talk about in a second because there's a Michael Jordan story we want to get to.
They gave us the Pope.
They gave us the damn, they gave us the damn 90s Bulls and the Pope and Deep Dish and Lou Malnati's. And listen, Chicago's a great place.
Disturbed, Chevelle, lots of great music.
Yeah.
Peter
Dyed
Cetera,
Rivers, Green Rivers.
25 and 6-4.
I mean, a lot of good stuff out of the
Abe
city of
Froman, hello.
Sausage King, Wrigley Field, the Cubbies. Chicago's great. I'm going to tell you why it's okay, Chicago, because this Caleb Williams story might just be the funny, happy ending where when you guys finally make some playoff runs and maybe get there, maybe win your first Super Bowl since the Super Bowl Shuffle, you'll go back and be like, and it's so funny, Caleb didn't even want to be here, because that is the backstory, my friends.
That's the story.
That's the backstory to New York Mets legend, Keith Hernandez. Keith Hernandez, who has been part of the Mets organization for 40-plus years. He's one of the most beloved players in organization history. He's part of their broadcast team for the last 20 years.
Yeah, and he snubbed us when we worked at SNY.
And I love Keith Hernandez.
No, that's cool.
But no, Keith Hernandez
But you know what, Rich?
openly talks about when he was traded from Whitey Herzog's Cardinals to the Mets, he thought about, like, I may quit. Mets, they stunk.
And it worked out for the best.
And he
You're
ends
right.
up becoming
and
the
everybody
face.
loves him there.
Yeah.
He's the face of the franchise. He's the dude. He's the guy. Everybody rolls out the red carpet for Keith. He's one of the legends.
And it's no secret that when he got traded from the Cardinals, he was an MVP for St. Louis.
Yeah, he didn't want to go there.
He told his agent, like, do whatever you can to stop this.
But again, Rich, you said it before. It's part of the story. It doesn't make it bad. It makes it actually more interesting. When you ask people about their relationships, how much pride and how much fun does the woman usually, it's usually the woman who says something like this, and I say this respectfully, oh my God, when I met Sam, it's like I kind of hated him.
And then,
That's usually the case.
I really hated him. Like I was like, no, ew. And then, oh my God, I got to know him, and he's the best. And then he asked me out, and then now we're in love, and now we're married. But it's always that part of the story that pulls you in. Like, oh wow, yeah, you hated him, right? That's how Caleb Williams felt.
I'll be honest.
But again,
Covino,
years ago, every great story starts that way.
I'll pat you on the back because for the rest of the weekend, you and I are not pals because of the Mets Yankees, but that is so freaking accurate. How
Right?
many relationships are like,
Oh my God, I couldn't stand him.
When we first
he was
met-
so full of himself.
when we first met, I was like, ew. And then the girl's like, and then I loved him. And you know what? Chicago, there's your Caleb Williams front end of your story. Hopefully the back end of your story, I like a nice back end.
Who does?
Hopefully the back end of that story for Chicago is a Super Bowl at some point with this guy. And then you'll laugh at
He'll
this.
make a speech. Like, man, when I first heard about, I was playing Chicago, I didn't know how to feel about it.
And you remember even my pop said, you don't
Even
want
my
to go.
pops
You
was
know?
like, man, I don't know if this is best for you, but Chicago, you changed my life. I love you. We did it.
And he's got Ben Johnson. He's got a guy who was one of the best play callers in the NFL the last few seasons with the Detroit Lions. So the hardware of Chicago was their reputation and just the franchise in general and not having great quarterbacks for so long.
Yeah.
The software is Ben Johnson. The
You know what?
software is what you can change in and out.
Yep.
The
And-
reputation is the software that can be changed.
I was saying that's a great point. You're right, because the criticism came with people that have since been let go.
Exactly. Yeah. So this could be a great love story like any other one. Starts off a little rocky, just a little bit. Everybody has their challenges, but good for them. It's not that it's not interesting. It is. It's really interesting. I just don't think it matters much.
Hold on, I gotta look. I'm sorry, I gotta call up my my Bears schedule. I won't watch the corny video. Don't worry.
The Rich loves to look at the schedule game.
Schedule watching. It's true. I love a little schedule watching. I was trying to see who the this is gonna be
Rich
a good
loves
one.
watching butt cheeks walk by at the gym and NFL schedules.
I'm the guy that come the football season, I'll be able to tell you who plays who like week 7. I don't know why. It's just I'm fascinated with looking ahead.
It is important, but man, jeez.
Week 1, suckers. Monday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
Vikings at the Bears. So Caleb Williams starts out with the new system in place, new coaches in place. Week 1 at home, hosting what it seems to be J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings. So that should be a great Monday night matchup. It's funny. You look at all the matchups for Week 1 of the NFL, and because no one has sucked or been awesome yet, you can make a case that every game is awesome.
Do I have to watch every lame announcement video, or can I just look it up?
No, from now on, I'm demanding that if you need to know.
I can't be the only one that's like, yeah, whoopity do. They made some goofy parody. This is terrible.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Honestly, I couldn't sit through 30 seconds of any of those videos.
Let me see. Who do the Atlanta Falcons play? Let me watch their Mario Kart video. No, you don't want to.
No, honestly, no. I don't want to play Mario Kart. I don't want to watch this video.
All right.
Maybe that's just proof that my attention span is non-existent thanks to social media.
The Ravens actually had a cool one. They had like a Severance themed one. That was like kind of okay.
Great.
I think by the time Rich showed me that one, I had fallen asleep.
Yeah,
very
I had to nudge him. He had dozed off. I was like, Covino and the Ravens. He's like, what, bro?
But again, we went over the top 5 on Overpromised, our bonus podcast. You could watch it and judge for yourself. That's on Fox Sports Radio's YouTube page.
All right, well, I want to stick in Chicago for a second, if that's cool with you, because today is the 40th anniversary of a big moment for Chicago. You might have heard of this guy, Michael Jordan,
I'm sorry, who?
Miguel Jordan.
I know Mike who runs this
Never
place.
heard of him.
Mike Jordan? Mike Jordan? I don't know that guy.
When you were a kid, if you were a kid of the 80s and 90s like us, it was all about the Michaels. Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, Michael Jordan. And every kid in your class. If you
I thought you were going to say Michael Bolton, you big liar. I know Rich is a huge fan.
And Bolton. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, it is fair to say there were 2 to 3 Michaels in every classroom.
Oh, without a doubt.
Every Mike you know, you had an initial. Oh, yeah, Mike L. Oh, yeah, that's Mike C.
My dad's name is Mike.
So it was the name of the 80s.
Mike.
He was born in the 50s, but yes, it's a very popular name.
Mike.
Mike Seaver, your favorite?
Mike Brady.
Michael Scott.
So Michael Jordan, 40 years ago today, was named the NBA Rookie of the Year. And earlier this week, we talked about, on our show in the afternoon, I want to rehash this a little bit. We talked about it because we have more time to think about it. Michael Jordan is going to be part of the broadcast team in some capacity when the NBA returns to NBC.
They're calling him special contributor. What does that mean? Well, we have our theories.
We'll get to that. And why, how, where, who, what, why at this point, all these years later, where Michael Jordan has kept almost like a mysterious persona, not on social media, never seemed to be pulled into any media. The Last Dance was orchestrated by him. He was the puppet master of what we got to see during COVID. Last Dance, big documentary. But besides that, Michael Jordan's sort of been a man of mystery that sits back and collects hundreds of millions of dollars a year in Nike and Jordan money. Why is he doing this? As Covino said, we have our theories, and we get to it next, right here, in for the great Dan Patrick, Covino and Rich.
It's Covino and Rich on Fox Sports Radio. Are you ready?
Yes! We talk about pop culture, we talk about sports, we talk about life.
It's a friendship on the radio.
When you talk about the best athlete in the world, you're probably thinking Jim Thorpe, right?
I'm thinking
joking.
Bo Jackson.
I'd have to throw myself at the age of 12 into the conversation.
You are the home run champion. When you find the commonality between sports and life, those analogies and conversations are the best. You were dating some girl, and you were like, hey, babe, let's watch The Sixth Sense. Her mom walked in. Can you believe he was dead the whole time?
I wanted to get up.
Well, slow down, Dana White.
I don't want to say. It's never boring.
If the Chiefs win,
Sorry, Patrick Mahomes here. What do you mean by if the Chiefs win?
Our friendship is real. It's authentic. You can't fake the funk.
we're the type of guys you'd want to hang out with at a sports bar. Best way to pick someone up at a bar?
Yeah.
Go up to a cute girl and say, oh, look at that bozo over there. And I point to you. We could make fun of each other, poke each other a little bit.
I call him Blubber Lips, Rich Davis, because he never stops talking.
He thinks he's the Mexican Fonz.
Yeah.
At any point, he's wearing a chain. You have a chain on?
Always.
Of course he has a chain on.
That's like asking me if I'm wearing cologne right now. Of course I am. We take a lot of pride in being inclusive and interactive on our show. Just the more the merrier.
Josh, Covino thinks that every man should own a leather jacket.
I only wear vegan leather.
Can you believe this guy?
I can't believe this guy. We have a very special connection with our audience, our listeners. People feel that friendship.
And I appreciate y'all's show. I love it.
It's all for you. Thank you.
Mike Tyson, Covino, loves to just challenge us with random Mike Tyson trivia.
Which accomplished celebrity purchased my sprawling Connecticut estate?
I'm going to go 50 Cent.
You are absolutely correct. 50 Cent. I love his song.
You can't schedule a big event during
can't.
a big sports moment.
My family member scheduled their wedding the same night as a Julio Cesar Chavez fight. Everyone was glued to that fight instead of doing the electric slide.
This is weak.
Unbelievable. You're very tricky.
America, you got sports, you got fun, you got us.
Covino and Rich.
We're crushing it.
It's Covino and Rich on Fox Sports Radio. Are you ready?
Yes! We talk about pop culture, we talk about sports, we talk about life.
It's a friendship on the radio. When you talk about the best athlete in the world, you're probably thinking Jim Thorpe, right?
I'm thinking
joking.
Bo Jackson.
I'd have to throw myself at the age of 12 into the conversation.
You are the home run champion. When you find the commonality between sports and life, those analogies and conversations are the best.
You were dating some girl, and you were like, "Hey, babe, let's watch The Sixth Sense." Her mom walked in. "Can you believe he was dead the whole time?"
I wanted to get up.
Well, slow down, Dana White.
I don't want to say It's never boring.
If the Chiefs win,
Sorry, Patrick Mahomes here. What do you mean by if the Chiefs win?
Our friendship is real. It's authentic. You can't fake the funk.
We're the type of guys you'd want to hang out with at a sports bar. Best way to pick someone up at a bar?
Yeah.
Go up to a cute girl and say, "Oh, look at that bozo over there," and I'll point to you. We could make fun of each other, poke each other a little bit.
I call him Blubber Lips, Rich Davis, because he never stops talking.
He thinks he's the Mexican Fonz.
Yeah.
At any point, he's wearing a chain. You have a chain on?
Always.
Of course he has a chain on.
That's like asking me if I'm wearing cologne right now. Of course I am. We take a lot of pride in being inclusive and interactive on our show. Just the more the merrier.
Josh, Covino thinks that every man should own a leather jacket.
I only wear vegan leather.
Can you believe this guy?
I can't believe this guy. We have a very special connection with our audience, our listeners. People feel that friendship.
And I appreciate y'all so. I love it.
It's all for you. Thank you.
Mike Tyson, Covino, loves to just challenge us with random Mike Tyson trivia.
Which accomplished celebrity purchased my sprawling Connecticut estate?
I'm going to go 50 Cent.
You are absolutely correct. 50 Cent. I love his song.
You can't schedule a big event during
can't.
a big sports moment.
My family member scheduled their wedding the same night as a Julio Cesar Chavez fight. Everyone was glued to that fight instead of doing the electric slide.
This is weak.
Unbelievable. You're very tricky.
America, you got sports, you got fun, you got us.
Covino and Rich.
We're crushing it.
It's Covino and Rich on Fox Sports Radio. Are you ready?
Yes! We talk about pop culture, we talk about sports, we talk about life.
It's a friendship on the radio. When you talk about the best athlete in the world, you're probably thinking Jim Thorpe, right?
I'm thinking Bo
joking.
Jackson.
I'd have to throw myself at the age of 12 into the conversation.
You are the home run champion. When you find the commonality between sports and life, those analogies and conversations are the best.
You were dating some girl, and you were like, "Hey, babe, let's watch The Sixth Sense." Her mom walked in. "Can you believe he was dead the whole time?"
I wanted to get up.
Well, slow down, Dana White.
I don't want to say.
Yo, what's up, buddies? Covino and Rich in for the great Dan Patrick. Fox Sports Radio. It's Friday, an NBA playoff weekend, a Subway Series weekend. Any good fights this weekend or no?
Yeah, me and you, if you don't shut up. If you don't stop about your stupid
You know what?
Mets
I wanna
and
see if
Juan Soto.
I want to see if I can make a prop bet that Aaron Judge strikes out 2 or more times tonight. Let me see here.
I'll tell you what, I'm giving Juan Soto no props. I can't wait to hear this guy booed.
I've never seen a fan base hate a guy that was on their team 1 year. Get off his huevos.
All right, I know we're going to talk about that, but I do want you to know that there's a lot of viral buzz about how the Yankee fans are going to welcome Soto back to the Bronx after he chose the Mets, right? I mean, he had a World Series run with the Yankees. That's why, Rich. It does matter. And he chose the Mets? Get out of here. But Yankees fans are like, yeah, of course they're going to boo the hell out of this guy, but they're also going to chant. They are trying to plan maybe a silent treatment just to throw him off. But it's going to be a lot of booing and a lot of Grisham's better. You might hear that. Grisham's better. Ta, 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 ta. I can't wait to see what happens. Can't wait.
I really feel like Juan Soto is probably thinking, who cares? He is going to be locked in and zoned in. I do think that you guys are throwing. How many left? You're throwing a lefty tonight, Rodon. You throwing any other lefties?
I don't look ahead like you. I'm not a schedule watcher.
I don't like the Mets against lefties.
Yeah.
But anyway, Subway Series, some great NFL news. We got, of course, some NBA playoffs. I said it yesterday. I'm not the guy that says told you so, but I couldn't understand why OKC was favored by 6 yesterday. It was in Denver. You still got Jokic. You got Murray. And now we're going to see a Game 7. And I said it yesterday, not that it was by design, Covino, but this was a real great test for OKC. If they win at home, Game 7, they're going to feel like they could beat anyone. I know they're not the defending champions, but Denver 2 years ago, Jokic, arguably the best player in the league. It's him and SGA for MVP. So I think a Game 7, if they come up big, that might be.
You don't let them start gaining momentum and confidence either.
But then again, then they have to go face Anthony Edwards, Michael Jordan's son, as you call him.
Well, speaking of Jordan's son, I'm not the only guy that says that. Even their split screen faces sort of match up perfectly.
I know.
But speaking of MJ, Michael Jordan, everybody wanted to be like Mike. Transcended.
Sometimes I dream.
Yeah, me too. He is me.
Is that
Transcended fandom, meaning it didn't matter if you were a Knicks fan.
Like
everybody loved Michael Jordan. Everybody, every kid of the 90s. I know I did. Pumpkin pie haircutted Jersey kid had Michael Jordan all over my bedroom. Ken Griffey Jr. Certain guys just transcended your alliance or allegiance to any team. And you watched him play. You watched him dunk. You tried to mimic his moves.
You were watching Michael Jordan when Gatorade came in a glass bottle.
That's true. That is true. You know what, though? I'll tell you this. As much as I love the sneakers, too, Space Jam was never my jam, to be honest. Never was. And now, NBA on NBC. The first question is why. We have our theories. But it's the anniversary of Michael Jordan, Rookie of the Year, 1985, 40 years ago.
Before we talk about NBA on NBC, can we reminisce a little bit?
Sure.
He is me. Got to see that's how I dream to be.
Boom, 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 boom.
Dream I move. Dream I groove. Like Mike. If I could be like Mike. I wanna be like Mike.
Wow. Rich hitting the high notes. Damn. I didn't think you could do it this early. But again, that was 1985. You were rocking Jordan 1s. You were watching Back to the Future.
Great Scott.
You probably had a feathered haircut. But yeah, 85, 40 years ago. That's nuts.
You were watching the Goonies, man.
And you know what?
Goonies
I
never
know.
die.
I know we're going to talk about Michael Jordan a little bit here. And I like Bree's angle on this, to be honest. I really do. Not that I'm surprised. I'm just surprised. I didn't think of it, Bree. That's all.
Yeah, but he was like shocked that Bree came up with a good idea.
No. Bree is intelligent and she's great. I'm just shocked that I didn't think of this. You know, why is he being a special contributor? I mean, he's plenty busy with his race team and everything else, his business moves and just being Michael Jordan. Does he really need to be out there on NBC? But it's also the anniversary, Rich. Yesterday was the anniversary, but this week was also the anniversary. It happened May 15th, 2016.
Ooh.
Do you know what happened this week? I find it to be a pivotal moment in baseball for one man's career,
you know what?
especially.
Let people think about that.
Yeah, for one man.
All right, a pivotal moment in 2016 baseball on this day?
Yeah, something happened.
Hold
I'll
that
give
thought.
you a little hint. Something happened yesterday, 2016, and a little pow, right?
There's
little,
a hint.
Bam! And I don't think the guy was ever the same after this happened. It was like a career changer, in my opinion.
Okay.
Speaking of anniversaries,
Little Covino trivia.
yeah, Michael Jordan. It's really interesting, Rich, because like you said, what gives Michael Jordan the mystique that he has is that he played in an era and in a time where social media didn't exist. So we didn't know Michael Jordan's opinions. We didn't know. And again, he was still living under a microscope Everybody followed the guy, loved the guy, but we didn't know his real thoughts.
Did you say a microscope?
A microscope.
If Danny G was here, he'd be grumbling.
Yeah.
I'm grumbling inside. Right?
I'm giving you some side eye, Sam. But I think that's part of the reason why we still love him the way we do. It's because we only really knew him as a basketball player and as the guy that wore Air Jordans.
In fact,
the guy that slammed dunks.
Some criticize him for not speaking up on certain
Absolutely.
issues.
Social issues,
but
yeah.
To the point where, you don't really say much. You can't upset many people. He was
Different time,
He's
different
loved
place.
in the 80s and 90s. Everyone wanted to be like Mike. And with the NBA returning to NBC, and Round Ball Rock is making a comeback.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad. Well, Rich.
Basketball.
Give me the ball because I'm gonna dunk it!
For the record,
basketball.
Rich is a bigger John Tesh fan than he is a Michael Jordan fan. But I think part of the NBA on NBC, Michael Jordan angle, John Tesh, and it was also announced that Vince Carter is going to be part of the
coverage.
I think they're really looking for that nostalgia. I don't think Jordan's doing it for the money. I think he's doing it for that fan base and the younger fan base that he still needs. It's like marketing 101 for me. I always use the same example, Rich. Big brands like Budweiser or Coca-Cola, they're not advertising to you. You know what that is. They're advertising for the younger generation. So it's in their brand recognition. And the NBA is still a young man's game. And a lot of young people watch it. They know of Michael Jordan. They never saw him play, really. They've seen the highlights. They know the shoes. But you know what? Now he's going to be there every once in a while, back in everybody's face, young people's face, reminding everybody that he's the guy.
I think Last Dance was, for a younger generation, I think that might have been the most they learned or knew about Michael Jordan watching that documentary during COVID. And perhaps just a reminder, I just want to talk about the money for a second, because every time I hear someone say, man, I wonder what they're paying this guy, my first thought is, I read that he makes about $400 to $500 million a year. We're talking $500 million, billions and billions and billions. Guy makes $400+ billion from the Jordan brand and Nike.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Billions and billions and billions and
And billions and billions. And when you make that much money, even if he got a Tom Brady contract, what did Tom make? 300-something million over 10 years? If Michael Jordan made $20, $30 million a year, NBA and NBC, which he's not, if he did to be a contributor, that would still be like, what does that mean? When you're making, it's like, they always say like a guy like Bezos or
Yeah, he's not doing it for the money.
Zuckerberg, like if they to stop and pick up $100 bill is a waste of their time. Those type of silly things you hear. How much? You ever see that stat of like how much Bezos makes per minute? Michael Jordan doesn't need the NBA on NBC's money.
No,
So why is
he's
he
not
doing
it for free. But yeah, it's not for the money. I think it's again just to be out there. Might miss it a little bit.
It's
I also think
a reminder, like, hey, world, as we all get older and younger generations come into play, I want to remind everyone here, Michael Jordan here, I'm the GOAT.
But here's the thing. Can I give you another example? He's a busy guy. He doesn't need this. He's got a lot going on. Like we said, endorsements, his race team. He's Michael Jordan. He's a brand. He's a walking brand, just walking around.
Cove, you ever think he's bored though? Meaning, like, you love that game.
He might
for so
miss
long.
the NBA action, like being part of it.
Maybe it's
part
like,
of it.
when you say, like, when people say, if you win the lottery, would you retire?
You think he's bored golfing and living an awesome life? I don't know. That could be. You can't discount that.
I'm just saying, imagine if every day you had the ability to go on a yacht, go on a private plane, go wherever you want. You don't think after a while you might be like, all right, maybe I want a little meaning. Maybe I want a little something.
Okay, but let's break this down. Special contributor. Very specific. What does it mean? It means he's not going to be there all the time. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And he's going to do his best. And it's going to be interesting. I guess Bryant Gumbel sort of thing. Meaning, I think he's going to do some interviews or some produced sort of package once in a while. But he's not going to be that guy that's there all the time. Because they're so pumped to have him as part of NBC that it's on his schedule, and they're always going to keep him in that great light because his brand's too big to take any risk. I don't think we're going to see like his true feelings on a certain situation.
I'm glad you said
cutting
that.
down young players.
I'm glad
it's
you
not
said
his
that.
style, and I don't think it's going to work for his brand. And I think it's going to be. You remember when Roger Clemens was like, "Yeah, I'll pitch, but I don't really want to pitch, and I really don't have to pitch." And they're like, "Rock it, but it'll be like home games, and we'll revolve everything around you." So he's like, "All right, well, I guess." I think that's what they're going to do for Michael Jordan. Like, hey, look, you're Michael Jordan. You don't need us. But guess what? We really want you. So we're going to do what you want, when you want, and how you want. And that's really it. And we'll reap the benefits because we'll see him. And then a whole younger audience also gets to see him.
Yeah. I think there's also something to be said about too much to risk with the brand. And look down at your feet right now. At least someone in this room is wearing Dunks or Jordans or something, right? I mean
I got boxes of them at home.
It's a brand that
I should say Jeepers.
every
Chief, where'd you get them? Paylist?
Yeah, sorry.
Spot
everyone
gets his shoes at Paylist.
so
Rich is
everyone-
wearing Crocs, by the way.
I'm not wearing Crocs. I'm wearing Dunks today. But most guys own at least one pair of Jordans. There's too much to risk. So I'm saying you're not going to hear any like crazy hot takes from Michael Jordan. It's going to be pretty safe, and he'll be in control. And I believe most are saying they'll likely be prepackaged, like nice segments that nothing live.
Big picture stuff.
Like big picture stuff.
Think
And
about it this way. It's been 40 years today since he won Rookie of the Year, right?
Yeah. It's been a minute.
1985. Do you know anything about where Michael Jordan stands on like current players? No. You barely know how he feels about LeBron, which was never really, honestly, I think what LeBron wanted it to be. You kind of knew how he felt about Kobe, right? They had a mutual respect there for sure, but you don't know what he thinks. I think you're going to get that from Vince Carter. That's like his role. I think you're going to get some great insight there. He's not going to come out and try to be like Shaq and Charles Barkley. It's not even going to be his role. Special contributor, very specific.
I know where he stands on yachts.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where he stands these days.
You know, I'll say this.
On golf courses.
Sometimes legends have the ability to, quote, pass the torch intentionally or unintentionally, right? Like if David Letterman, I always remember David Letterman, Conan talks about how there was a moment where Letterman sort of gave him the thumbs up. He went on Conan's show when it first started.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, you're a young, funny guy. I like this guy, Conan. And by doing that, he pretty much told the late night audience, David Letterman,
endorse,
who's top of the heap, who didn't love David Letterman?
King of the Hill.
King of the Hill.
Number one.
He said to the world, yeah, I like this young Conan kid. I think Michael Jordan has the ability to really endorse.
And by the way,
someone.
Hold on, pause. Also a sign of great character because a guy like David Letterman doesn't have to do it. We've been in radio a long time. I don't think anyone has ever been like, hey, Covino and Rich. You know who has? Colin Cowherd.
Yeah,
he's
that is
always
true.
said nice things about us. Yeah, and it shows you, honestly,
that he's the man.
My dad would say, I'm kissing ass. Hey, don't be kissing ass. I'm not. It's the truth. But in other places we worked, the big dogs there, they never really acknowledged us at all. So for David Letterman to do that shows a lot about who he is.
And the fact that the great Dan Patrick is like, those guys are my fill-in, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's the pat on the back, or I guess you would say the endorsement. Michael Jordan has the ability to go on NBA on NBC and say, hey, you know what, world? If you ask me, Michael Jordan, you know, the GOAT that everyone loves, you're wearing my sneakers right now, and oh, look, you probably have a apparel on with my Jumpman logo. Anthony Edwards, or, you know,
he just might be my son.
Wembanyama.
I love this boy.
What if he's like, Wembanyama, but, you know, he's the face. Like, whatever he says would carry so much weight.
Oh, my God. So much weight.
He can make the next king.
Yeah, he can
making.
Yeah, I knight him. Something he really never did for LeBron. And Bree has an angle that involves guys like LeBron and why MJ's doing this. And we'll get to that. And the other anniversary that we teased, we'll get to that next. All right?
All right. CNR in for the great Dan Patrick, Fox Sports Radio.